Sorry. I thought I had my phone plugged, but apparently I did not. So my battery had died. I don't know. All right, where are we at? Okay, so we have mentioned this before. Since the third Sirius, that is the Ilona constellations, is the closest gate to the second universe, friends whom you call Adam and Eve were transferred to the first universe from the second universe from here. Okay? So, friends whom you call Adam and Eve were transferred to the first universe from the second universe from here. These friends were the first transfers, and they were sent here as a triple coat. They are Adam, Eve, and Devil, or devil. 1. Adam is a pure energy. Eve is a creative power. 3. Devil is the bright consciousness. Adam and the devil were sent as protecting guards for Eve. Afterwards, many Adams and Eves were transferred from the second universe. By this means, the group of mythological heroes, gods and goddesses were constituted. So, your Hercules and your whoever's. Godly rules were prepared as the doctrines of these high consciousnesses. By their brain energies, they bring the medium they're in to a level suitable for life. So they were able to bring certain elements with them so that they're more comfortable here, so that they can habituate to here. Section 2. Friends who had come from the second universe brought water into being by condensing the energy in your world that had been selected as the closest planet to Ilona. Okay? And they used your planet as a laboratory with the technological operations they performed. Clay, water, divine light. That is 1. Mud. 2. Water. 3. Cosmic rays. The 3 of them becoming unified brought into being the amino acids and the single cell. This single cell was subjected to the cosmic energy of different dimensions in the world laboratory, and cell reproduction was obtained. These reproducing cells multiplied from 1 to 2, from 2 to 4, from 4 to 8, from 8 to 16, to 32, to 64, etc. By this means, an operation was performed on the cells, multiplying in accordance with certain numbers, and each cell, one by one, separately, was strengthened by the energies of much different dimensions, and different species were brought into being. So the cell was neutral. It was multiplying. But then the different beings, channeled or projected and engrafted on these various cells, different energies from different dimensions. So we know of the Lyrans and the Palladians. We know that there's planets that's just filled with different species, like, I don't know, insects, and they're the rulins. They're not tiny little bugs. The planets were monkeys, call it Planet of the Apes. It's not an actual, just a fictional movie, right? So different energies were engrafted on these different cells, and then different creatures came into being. Okay? So by engrafting the genes of different dimensions to these species, different animal species came into being. Meanwhile, the life consciousnesses of those animals unified with the universal consciousness and brought into being the grass and vegetation they needed. So they connected to the ether, the universe, and whatever it is that they needed was given to them, was created here, was manifested here, was brought for them. Okay, so when you're able to connect to who you are and where you're from, what it is that you desire to be fully established here can be given to you too. Now, my book on manifestation is coming forward soon, and is packed with deep knowledge such as these. Okay, where was I? So, and the species of these grass and vegetation were multiplied by feeding them with the energies of different dimensions. Meanwhile, since the atmosphere was not constituted yet, So our atmosphere was not constituted yet on the planet. The living beings that were fed with the intense energy of this medium became as big as a small place of land. So when we're looking at like our lands and we see that one of them look like rooster and dragons, and we see dragons that we're walking on and we're living on and we're planting on. Yeah, because the creatures that were here when this whole thing started, and remember, there's been many beginnings. I'm just talking about the recent beginning, right? They were huge, as were the humans, right? They were huge. So as big as a piece of land. The trees reached a height of 500 meters. This energy is the energy of the dimension of immortality. Section 3. Meanwhile, our friends who came from the second universe took special precautions to prevent both the trees and the animals from growing in such a way. The living being that had come into existence as a result of certain laboratory studies were perishing after a certain period of time and was being converted into putrefied transformation. And we talk about the Himalayan salt, and they've been analyzing it, and it looks like the human muscle with like layers of fat, right? Okay, so putrefied transformation. These very transformations during the time processes brought into being the oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, helium, carbon dioxide gases you need and formed your atmosphere. When we say we're all one, and we should say thank you to the ground that we walk on, and the exchange of energy between us and the trees and the land and the air and the sky and the birds and all of it, it's not even a joke. These very transformations during time processes brought into being the oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, helium, and carbon dioxide gases you need and formed your atmosphere. That's when our atmosphere became formed. Through this biological transformation, the world formed a nutshell in its own constitution and shut the constitution to the cosmic currents. That's when our firmament, right? So that everything that is here orchestrated by the program that is here. Meanwhile, the friends in the second universe gathered these natural reproductions in the world one by one for them not to become extinct and transferred them to many different galaxies. The atmosphere and gravity putrefies the living beings only in the world. Dimensions outside this are the boundaries of immortality. So outside of Earth is the boundaries of immortality. So we only die on Earth. Section 4. Living beings taken from your planet and brought to different galaxy mediums were taken into the medium of reproduction within the energies of that dimension, androgynous reproduction. By this means, different galaxies of cats, dogs, apes, birds, dinosaurs, etc. formed separately. With the assistance of the friends in the second universe, the evolutionary tableau of their plans were applied to them. And here, living beings that completed the evolution of their own plans were brought to your world again. The genes of the living beings that perished on your planet as a necessity of the medium were beamed to the medium here when it died. So outside of Earth. Any different cosmic rays that were godly rays were applied to them. These rays are the direct rays of the sons of the second universe. And right now our Earth, it is surrounded by galaxies and universes and different suns that are projecting on us. That's why the ascension is on high speed. Then those genes were again taken into the world laboratory. Meanwhile, the cat, dog, ape, etc. that attained godly consciousness brought the fetus that was a different species into being. The androgynous reproduction of the mammals begins thus. Godly consciousness equals creative power. Who is making that noise? Section 5. Later, these fetuses were taken from the world laboratory and were brought to the second universe. And they were engrafted by our genes and by our essence, energies, being programmed in accordance with the direct cosmic consciousness of that medium. The essence energy is our bodily energy. So, I'm not sure if they're talking about sperm or egg. By the fetus, which thus came into being, the human race was derived. Okay, so when the cats, dogs, apes, etc. started producing, right, it says what? Then those genes were again taken into the raw laboratory. Meanwhile, the cat, dog, ape, etc. attained godly consciousness. That attained godly consciousness brought the fetus that was different species into being. And they said androgynous reproduction of the mammals began, right? And then later, those fetuses were taken from the raw laboratory, Earth, and were brought to the second universe, and they were engrafted by their genes, right? And by their essence energies being programmed in accordance with the direct cosmic consciousness of that medium. The essence energy is their bodily energy. By the fetus which thus came into being, the human race was derived. And your bodily shape came into existence by our shape. Let us go make man in our image and in our likeness. This species is called humankind. Studies were carried out on the fetus and genes so that the human and the animal races that had come into existence by the androgynous reproduction could be continuous on your planet, and by the sexual reproduction formula, the female-male factor was brought into being and the perpetuation of the race was maintained. Heterogamic reproduction began. Both the animal and the human species living on your planet that reproduce through this perpetuation of the race had the power of adapting themselves to the natural conditions in their lives. And certain physical characteristics were transformed within the time processes and have brought into being the families like the carnivores and the herbivores. The scientific research made on your planet are shedding light on you on this path. Section 6. Sorry. Can't fix it. Sharif! Section 6. Since the pressure of your atmosphere was not very intense during those periods, the height of the humans reached 45 meters. Animals, too, were big in the same proportion. However, for the convenient perpetuation of the human race, the dinosaur species on your planet was destroyed overnight. The reproducing humans were dying after a certain period of time by losing their energies due to the pressure exerted on the cells by gravity and the atmosphere. Meanwhile, the essence gene of the dead human was again brought to the second universe, strengthened by different energies, and beamed again to your planet as a fetus. That is, the fetus is a remembrance of God to you. Mother and father feed it. The fetus embodies itself by its essence consciousness. Section 7. Meanwhile, changes occurred in the consciousnesses. The power of the creative thought found a field of action, and the evolution of the human began thus. Power of creative thought found a field of action. Creative thought found a field of action, and then the evolution of the human began. We began to think and act according to the thought. Humankind that possessed godly power by this means multiplied greatly as time went by and began to become dangerous. At that very stage, the need for evolutionary ordinance and purification was felt. The essence of the fetuses that were taken to different time dimensions of sacred light adapted themselves to the evolution system in accordance with evolvement consciousness and godly view. The thought frequency of humankind transcended universes in time and shifted towards the infinite, and they reached the spiritual whole and began to learn, one by one, those beyond it. It is necessary to admit that even though all of us are the seeds of the same essence, the being called human is the first being who reached his or her God. Even us who brought him or her into existence cannot yet enter the dimension she or he has entered. This is your power. The human consciousness that can easily dive into the infinites of the universe at the moment has been taken into the evolutionary plan by a hierarchical order, and during the periods of leaving the world has completed its evolution in accordance with the rules of the system. By the consciousnesses it has gained in each period of evolution, it has been kept here frozen in the archived and has been bestowed on your planet again and again in different time processes as the same essence, as the same gene. So we be coming back. I'm not coming back again, but we have been coming back. Section 8. The fetus bestowed on your planet as veiled awareness, right, is transferred to your planet through numerous incarnations again and again until it attains an awareness that has risen to supremacy from the zero evolution of the world to a final evolution of the plan. I had a thought on this some time ago. Because the human outside of the 3D earth and the body has the consciousness, but we have veiled awareness when we come here. I think our job is to perfect the suit and the planet so that if we were ever to come back to the planet, we would not have veiled awareness. But that's just my thought. It's like the scientist creating a prototype and then going into the prototype to test the prototype until the prototype no longer needs testing, and the scientist does not lose a limb every time it goes into the prototype. The prototype and the scientist sync energies and essences and awareness. When it passed through the final evolutionary cycle of the plan, the fetus was again engrafted here by an essence that had gained an advanced consciousness and was again transferred as programmed to give knowledge to your planet. Thus, the period of prophethood began. Oh, that's pretty. Beings who were able to reach this very stage have succeeded in diving into the essence energies in the spiritual plan by claiming their own essences. The brain energies in those dimensions can even create universes. Has it not been said in the old that ye are gods and ye are children of the Most High? Hi. The brain energies in those dimensions can even create universes, and they can be transformed from those dimensions to other planets or to your world by their own desires without being subject to any system. No religious rules, indoctrination, none of that. No spiritual plan, no evolutionary plan, no systems, right? They come as a free will and they know themselves. Now, section 9. Now, at this stage, let us talk about our collective operations with you. By a system applied in accordance with the universal ordinance, the enlightening prophets warned you on the path of the single God and brought certain doctrines to your planet. Moses, Jesus Christ, Muhammad came into existence from the universe of light. Their essence are the same. They have the same essence. They were transferred to your planet, being engrafted with the gene of the second universe. Beiti, Khadri, Mevlana came into existence from the energy of the second universe, and they passed into infinite dimensions with supreme consciousness. As a result of an agreement we signed with them, the essence genes of the final evolution of the world plan of these 6 friends have been kept frozen until today. And during this period of transition from the religious dimension to the universal dimension that we call the period of resurrecting, they have been sown on your planet to assist humanity. So they've been sown here, back on Earth, in this day and time to assist humanity. In the year 1997, we will bring together secretly the 6 supreme friends. 1997 has passed. However, it is beneficial to explain the following. These supreme consciousnesses have surprised us at the moment by having claimed their own consciousnesses and the bodies of their initial existence. They have found their first mother and fathers through supreme awareness, and they have accomplished the initial embodiment through birth. So they're literally born the same way they first came here. We are searching and finding them in many different ways by subjecting them to numerous technological tests, and we are introducing them to society. And these sixes are subjecting us to an examination by this means. Section 10. So there are 6 supreme friends, advanced master friends, or brothers and sisters that have ascended. That includes Moses, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Beatty, Khadri, and Mevlana, and their assistant in the transition. Based on their frequency and their essence gene and the knowledges that you're able to obtain. So Mevlana is the one that got the download for this book, that was sent here to literally be able to receive the frequency of this book to put it down. And we know of Jesus Christ and Muhammad and Moses. Beatty and Khadri. Khadri, I read about him in the Islamic mysticism. I think he's a bloodline of Prophet Muhammad. Section 10. During this final period, the spiritual, lordly, and technological dimensions are hand in hand, okay, in a state of mobilization by the command of the unified ordinance. Spiritual, lordly, and technological dimensions. There's a dimension of pure technology, okay, this dimension of lordliness, and there's the dimension of the spiritual plan. They're all working hand in hand during this period that we're in. The contemporary foundation of the Golden Age is being laid under the light of the numerous unifications that have signed the Universal Constitution. The knowledge book that will project this universal ordinance on your planet was going to be handed over by the command of the Universal Council to the first hand that would extend up to us. And at the moment, it is dear Mevlana who has first extended her hand to us. Our gratitude is infinite to our friend who is the son of humanity. Everyone assembled under the roof of this book will be taken into salvation by the command of our Lord. This is a pledge of God. And that message was from the all-peaceful, light, and counsel. Notice to the Mevlana Essence Nucleus Group. This is center above center. The suggestions given to you are being given from the special focal sources of the Golden Age. The actual focusing point of the suns that spring forth from the essence of the entire cosmos is this place here. Okay, the actual focusing point of the suns that spring forth from the essence of the entire cosmos is this place here. That is the center above the center. We are always in contact with you as a result of the special operations carried out in your sorry, I am messing up. Let's see how I can fix this. I don't think. Okay, that works better. All right. Where was I? As a result of the special operations carried out in your focal point, the frequency and the level of consciousness of everyone is being coded one by one. It's being measured, right? And this means steps are being taken forward towards the advanced dimensions. Missionaries who will be lined up next to us will be the possessors of the genuine consciousness. In future, we will inform you about the names of certain friends one by one. By the powerful cooperations you will achieve among you, much more powerful group operations will be achieved. From now on, the messages that will be dictated will be clearer and more comprehensible. Your levels of consciousness have reached this level. In the messages dictated until today, any change is out of question because everything has been prepared in accordance with the field of application of the plan. This is a system. Friends who do not possess mission consciousness, who neglect their missions, will be rendered ineffective. Other names will be given in their places. In future, we will prepare for you more authentic, a more comfortable, a more faithful, a more conscious operational system. Every moment we will be with our missionaries who will see the good results. We will find solutions to their problems, and we will enable them to benefit from this medium in a more responsible, more aware, more conscious, and more productive way. When the time comes, we will assist them to get in contact privately with their friends who work in advanced plans of solar systems. During the coming summer months, there will be special missions allotted to all the group friends. We are connecting special people to each person in accordance with his or her level of consciousness. Everyone, hi Jacqueline, everyone will connect with those levels of consciousness either by talking or by writing. You will open up the West with great speed, and the missionaries in the group will connect with the missionaries of the center abroad. The very foundation of your group will become more strengthened by this means. It is presented for your knowledge. That was from Center Above the Center. General notice, our friends. We have entered a state of intense effort by the unification campaign formed in the entire universe, being projected on other plans as well. Sunny days are preparing the morrows. The final boundary of the divine order has been reached. From now on, consciousness and conscience will take the place of the divine system. Everyone will attain the truth by reading his or her own book of essence. However, during this period of transition, assistant codes have been taken under supervision by the center. The residents of the Golden Galaxy will give you special knowledge. Happy morals have been taken far beyond the divine order. It is not easy at all to deserve this dimension. However, such a system has been developed that the wakeful consciousnesses will become friends and light deserving here by achieving very great progresses of consciousness by this means. The system is in effect with all its power. It is presented for your knowledge, and that was Center Above the Center. It is answer to the chains of thought. Energy equals atomic whole. Atomic whole equals godly power. Godly power equals intensified energy in the concrete realm. Human is the most intense energy of the concrete realm. Like we're packed, intense, and dense. We can divide the energies of the universes, cosmoses, realms into three, as concrete, abstract, and real energies. Inside this energy whole, there are numerous concrete realms. Your planet is one of them. The most intense form of the intensified energy of the concrete realms is the cell. You can imagine that, right? Like we're batteries. Each cell is a mini computer. And they call the mitochondria, the powerhouse of each cell, right? Like our body is just beyond magnificent. If only we can utilize and be conscious of just imagine being conscious of all the trillions of cells in your body, from skin cells, fat cells, blood cells, bone cells, blood vessels, like the veins and the artery cells, the layers of cells, nails, hair. I don't know. The movie Lucy always just gets me going, because like she taps into her full brain capacity, the power of her full mind, and she just literally dissolves into the all. But before then, she felt everything. She says, I feel everything and I hear everything. You know, just imagine that you can like literally, because all your cells, according to the knowledge book, every single cell at the microscopic level, at the microscopic level, is a consciousness also going through an evolution. And they all agreed to come together to form this body that I came into. So just imagine being in connection and communication with all these trillion cells. That would just be phenomenal. Just imagine what we could do. Okay. So the human on your planet passes to the abstract from the concrete energy in which they are in. And they pass to the real dimension. So our dimension is concrete. Okay. And then we get to the abstract. And then we get to the real dimension. The real dimension is the essence dimension of the human. That's who you truly are. Your higher self, your true self, your essence self. The human, so we leave the body. Then we get to another plane. That's the abstract, right? I guess it's kind of like a transition state. And then we get to the real us. The human species has never passed beyond the real dimension until today, by any means. This means that no being who exists in the atomic whole has ever passed into the energetic dimension beyond the bringing into existence and existing energy types. In the operations carried out by the atomic whole, we could not find a name for a power unknown until today that is beyond the spiritual whole. Because this is such a potential that it is not an energy, but is a power beyond energy. Now the analysis and the synthesis of what this intense medium is are being made. No consciousness can grasp the data obtained from here. This knowledge is not projected anywhere. It's power beyond energy. However, it is given to you only as a crumb of knowledge. It is presented for your knowledge. And that was from Center. Notice, our friends. In all the groups, energies who enter the golden light year are automatically determined. All the friends are being coded and selected according to their essence within the archives. Unifications are being administered from the center. Energy transfers are opening up everyone's brain codes and are making them reunite with the divine light. At the moment, the entire ordinance is in a state of mobilization. The system is making the preparation for entering a different dimension. Exciting. The direct channels of the entire cosmos are being connected to each other. The emissaries of the divine rank who work in the divine stages of the preeminent plan will connect with everyone through the center above the center. By this means, the supreme mechanism will call out to you through the special line of the center from time to time. The connection will be provided by a system much more perfected and evolved than the link system. By this means, you will be brought into contact very easily with all the responsible ones of the supreme mechanism. In this way, we will connect the plan to more advanced systems and will relay to your planet the knowledge of the advanced dimensions from the special archives. That was from Center Above the Center. Whew. Now I'm going to show you some images. Mechanism of the Lords and its operational focal point. The single. This single projects the hierarchical order. And the hierarchical order reflects on the universal ordinance. And the universal order projects this on the evolutionary system. So they're talking about a chain of command where it starts from, how it reflects on the hierarchical order to the universes, to the plans, to us, projected throughout. So this is the image that I shall lift my book. The single will be at the center and its projection to the various rankings outwards, various universes, orders, systems, applications, etc. This diagram is a cross-section of the focal point that projects the operational order of the mechanism of the Lords. To comprehend this better, you may assume the above image as a big girth with many crystal prisms on it. The operational ordinance of the mechanism of the Lord is single at the center. This reflects on 4 focal points, right? You saw the first square within, okay? They work collectively as a 5-fold ordinance and they reflect on 8 focal points, all of them as 13 focal points. Form a whole that is called the single. Secrets within the secret are concealed here in the tablet of God's decrees. Here is the concealed treasure of the Lord. The whole, that is the single, works directly in connection with the all dominating the absolute. It is the one that projects the single focal point. Okay, so the all-dominating absolute is the one that projects the single focal point. He projects it out. Okay? This reflects by a prismatic order on the 8 focal points seen on the diagram. Okay? And the operational order of the mechanism of the Lord is projected on the evolutionary dimensions as 9 focal points by hierarchical order. So that's the dimensions that are going through evolvement. The mechanism of the Lord and its emblem, explanation of the emblem. So this is the emblem of the mechanism of the Lords. 2 R's together, creating the seed, looking like the sperm. Okay. So the seed. So nothing is single in the universe. The emblem is the predestination symbol of the mechanism of the Lords, our friends. Now we would like to talk to you about the godly order and the mechanism of the Lords. The Golden Galaxy Empire is a protector of your godly order and are the actual staff members of the mechanism of the Lords. It is responsible for the ordinance of the entire cosmos. All the galaxy empires under the supervision of the Universal Unification Council are under the supervision of this order. O, with an asterisk, whom we call the Supreme Creator, is an infinite, unlimited energy and is such a powerful potential that until today we have called him shortly the Almighty, the Absolute, for you to comprehend easily. O with an asterisk, Supreme Creator, right? Known as the Almighty, the Absolute. One cannot reach him because O is a potential that becomes intensified as one reaches him, and that can never enter your boundaries of thought. Here we have used the expression energy and potential for O so that you can comprehend. In fact, O is neither an energy nor a potential. He is an essence, power whom you cannot comprehend. You cannot grasp. Later explanatory knowledge on this subject will be given. The essence power unified with the energy of the Almighty, the Absolute, and created, the essence power unified with the energy of the Almighty, the Absolute, and created the universes, cosmoses, realms, and natural energy. The energy of the Almighty, the Absolute, is a catalyst of the essence power. It's like the ether, the nothingness, the non-existent existence. Certain natural reactions brought into being the natural potentials through transformation. This is accepted as the law of equilibrium. The knowledge we have been given, you, and the themes we have been talking about for centuries were for the human of the world to enter into an order in the universal ordinance for them to grasp the supremacy of the divine plan. For this reason, the Almighty, the Absolute, and his unreachable power were mentioned in all your religious books. Now we will talk about the supervision rings of the established order, that is, about the mechanism of the Lord. First of all, let us explain the emblem of the mechanism of the Lord. Remember the emblem, the R's backwards, the seed? Each shape, the explanation is as follows. The unification of the two Lords as a whole creates the seed. Okay. The unification of the two Lords as a whole creates a seed. This is the symbolic shape of the two R letters unified back to back. And this, as above, so below, the unification of the two Lords, the man and the woman, creates the seed. Okay, so as above, so below. Creating the shape of the seed and a root. Each shape is a symbol. Later, the symbols of certain shapes will be explained to you. In the knowledge we have given to you until today, we have used the words Creator, Allah, Lord, God, as if they were all the same. We have always kept the Almighty, the Absolute, separate, but you have always confused them all. Now we are explaining them. The ordinance of graduation of those periods did not require an explanation of the details. Now the skies have been opened. We have received the command to notify you everything in all clarity. Since the explanation would transcend the beliefs, it may seem contradictory to the view under the light of habitual knowledge. So you may think like this is because of whatever knowledge that you're used to or conditioned to. Certain consciousness levels may be unable to grasp it. The entire system, in fact, is under the supervision of two powers. One, Creator, which is equal to the Almighty, the Absolute. Two, the Director of that energy, the all-dominating, the Absolute. Okay? In fact, who's that? Asking to join, please. Where am I? If you have a question, I don't mind answering. Maybe you can join after I finish reading. I don't know. In fact, the Creator is an essence, power, energy. Allah is the energy of the Almighty, the Absolute. Oh my God. Allah is the energy of the Almighty, the Absolute. We call the unification of the two the Almighty, the Absolute. The Creator plus Allah equals Almighty, the Absolute. Its formula is essence power plus Almighty energy equals Almighty, the Absolute. The unification of the two brings into being the natural energy, the seed. For this reason, the emblem of the mechanism of the Lords signifies this figure, the two R's backwards, facing each other backwards. This figure is a soul, a seed. So this is how the soul is created. All living creations has come into existence through this unification. Almighty, the Absolute, is this. The Lord unifies with the energy focal points of the Almighty, the Absolute, and holds under his charge the supervision of the administrative order mechanism of the entire ordinance and governs it. That's what the Lord does. Okay? So we talked about the Almighty, the Absolute being the Creator plus Allah, right? Essence energy, essence power plus Almighty energy equals the Almighty, the Absolute, right? And that the Almighty, I'm sorry, which part was it? That is an energy, right? Allah is the energy of the Almighty, the Absolute. Okay? And now it's talking about, and then he talked about the soul being the unification of the two. And now it's talking about the Lord unifies with the energy focal point of the Almighty, the Absolute, and holds under his charge the supervision of the administrative order mechanism of the entire ordinance and governs it. So the Lord is like a governor. And this is the all-dominating, the Absolute, the governor of the supervision of the administrative order mechanism, okay, of the entire ordinance. The governor of that is known as the all-dominating, the Absolute. After this, a Lord and a godly mechanism of the hierarchical cluster of each established order have been projected in accordance with the mediums of consciousness that is given to different mediums. Okay? All the orders are connected to the all-dominating, the Absolute. So, because he's the governor. By this means, the mechanism of the Lords is projecting an order connected to the dimension of the Almighty, the Absolute, on all the realms and cosmoses. So it's like the command the governor of the command to make sure that it's being distributed accordingly to where it needs to go. The energy needs to go. The evolution needs to go. The plans, the systems needs to go. Okay. So by this means, the mechanism of the Lord is projecting an order connected to the dimension of the Almighty, the Absolute, on all the realms and cosmoses. Gods and their emissaries conduct this mission. You hear that? Allah is the energy of the Almighty, the Absolute. The Almighty, the Absolute is creator plus Allah equals the Almighty, the Absolute. The formula is essence, power plus almighty energy equals the Almighty, the Absolute. These two together causes the natural energy, which is the seed, which all creations that come forth holds the soul. That is the soul. Okay? This command, this energy focal point, then is governed, or the commands given from this energy source is governed by the all dominating the Absolute, and he then spreads it out or gives it to all the other cosmoses and realms. Okay? And then after that, the gods and the emissaries conduct the missions of those commands that is being governed by the all dominating, the Absolute, that was given by the Almighty, the Absolute. You see the hierarchical order? So the gods and their emissaries conduct this mission. The final representative of your reality is Amun. And we know Amun from ancient Egypt, Amun-Ra, but there's a trinity of them, but they're all one essence. He is the emissary of the world Lord. Our world Lord. His emissary is Amun, Amun-Ra. And this is presented for your knowledge. And that was from Center. Thank you, Missy, for liking. It is knowledge about the Lords. Each fetus is an essence. However, there are differences between the essence gene and the other gene. The essence, the essence gene has become an unveiled awareness by attaining the property of developing all the cells up until the final dimension of evolvement. So, the essence gene has become unveiled, so is in the full knowing, by attaining the property of developing all the cells up until the final dimension of evolvement. So when you complete your evolution, you gain unveiled awareness. 1221. Nice numbers. Even though they are the parts of the same whole, they are subject to evolution separately. The common aspect they share is only the fact that they all love humans, animals, and nature. Apart from this, each gene is obliged to complete its evolvement separately, okay, by means of the cell consciousness and awareness it has gained. Remember I was speaking about Lucy, cell consciousness? You're a big cell, but you're made up of a whole bunch of cells, right? Now imagine gaining consciousness of all these cells, the trillions of it. These genes can even surpass the essence genes by the efforts they make during their life processes. For example, Mevlana's father is an essence gene, but Mevlana transcended him. The structure of each fetus is the same. That is, each essence too is the same. These essences are the energy particles emitting from the single. The genes are each a mini computer that enable reproduction and that give the command to adapt to the medium that they are in with the universal awareness and the universal consciousness they have gained. That's the job of the gene. Okay? It's a mini computer that enables reproduction and that give the command to adapt to the medium that we are in. So this person needs this type of body. The body needs to be consisted of this amount of water, this amount of this amount of nutrients, this amount of nitrogen, this amount of, you know what I mean? The genes are each a mini computer that enables reproduction and that gives the command to adapt to the medium they're in with the universal awareness and the universal consciousness they have gained. By this means, embodiment in accordance with the life of the medium occurs. Apart from this, energies who have transcended mental dimensions by evolutionary rules, that is, by incarnations, can even create universes by their thought frequencies, utilizing their own essence powers. Okay? These very essence powers are the lords of the plans they are in. At the moment, the lord of your planet is the world lord. His emissary is Amun. And you have been under the supervision of the same lord in every period. Do not confuse the lord with the creator. This supervision is nothing but the application of constitution of a plan functioning in harmony with your universal progresses and with the evolution ordinance. The applied order, The applied order from which all your sacred books have been revealed is this. We establish the order, you impair, you destroy it. The duty to build it up again is incumbent upon us. Centuries pass in this way. If they desire supreme consciousnesses who have made their progresses in accordance with the law of evolution and who have dived into the infinite awareness through the final consciousness code, final consciousness code are transferred again to help your planet. Okay? So those that have already attained supreme consciousness, finished your law of evolution, right? And has gained their consciousness code, the final consciousness code, which is like the apex of consciousness that a human can attain. They are transferred to our planets to help us, like the prophets, right? And Jemevlana. Apart from this, and other beings too, that we just don't know them, but they're really high advanced beings with supreme knowledge, and they're doing really fantastic stuff. Like I've met a few, and they're developing like universities, and some of them don't even like. One of my friends that's on here that I don't want to expose her. I don't know if she's still here, but a lot of them are like doing, I guess I could call it underground work. So like they're not out there for you to like know them, etc. But they're also performing their missions. They're also helping with this transition. Okay, where are we? Apart from this, the administrative plans assist your planet both from the spiritual plans and from the mechanical plan to transfer you to yourselves, to render consciousness the unknowns. And these phenomena happen for everything to attain a whole and for enveloping the entire cosmos with the love within its essence. The message has been dictated as an answer to the chains of thoughts. And that was from Center. We're in the last page, yo. Our friends, now by the unified reality of an ordinance being established, all the realms and the cosmoses are being assembled as a whole. For this reason, the mechanical system comes into effect and conducts missions of the intermediaries in between with computers. Meanwhile, by the different communication system, I just got a notification. We got something outside. My knee. I bent my knee the wrong way. All right. Meanwhile, by the different communication systems of very advanced technologies, many unknown horizons have been reached. By this means, we converse with you very easily, and we are transmitting the truth. We receive the commands from all dominating the absolute. Now, the Lord is speaking. And if we can reach your brain signals, we are transmitting the knowledge and the commands to you. All the supervision is from the center. We, the residents of the Golden Galaxy, are projecting the unified reality to the cosmoses under the supervision of the advanced order established by the celestial ships of numerous galaxies. Hear that? By the final representative of your reality is Amun. We are in contact with you by his directives. The number of the galaxies that have signed the Universal Constitution increases with each passing day. By this means, we step forward towards a happy life. The universal mechanism that is the focal point of preparations of the integrated consciousnesses for more advanced plans is the most correct source relaying to you the knowledge in the most correct way. The universal ordinance and the plan of the supreme consciousness of Allah are included in the application field of this focal point. The divine ordinance and order are being supervised by the same applied field in all the realms, in all cosmoses, in all universes. So everything is happening the same in all the existence, all creations. The sacred light, that is the spiritual mechanism, is the single projecting focal point of the evolutionary ordinance. The ordinance of Almighty the Absolute is being projected on the universes under the supervision of this plan. The supreme plan will make certain suggestions to you before starting the operations for the conclusion of the cycle. These suggestions will be warning lights guiding you. However, we will specifically declare their suggestions when the time comes. It is presented for your knowledge. And that was from the Council of Unified Reality. Note, the dictated mechanism of Lord has been transmitted to you as knowledge beyond Gamma. That was the end of Fascicule 23. I'm doing great, thank you. I hope you are well as well. So I post my lives on my YouTube channel. I don't even know what name it is. I think it's Josephine I Am. I believe so. But yeah, in case you want to share the knowledge with someone or you want to like revisit the lives, they're always on my YouTube channel. Also, I wrote a children's book called My Special Child that's on Amazon. And basically, I am just doing my best to keep the minds of the children active and aware of the universal ordinances and the consciousness that they came from and the dimension that they came from, because pineal glands are being calcified, and the indoctrination of the education system and the job system and all the oppressions of the world are just meant to like make us forget our universal sovereignty. So my mission is to keep the young minds active and to keep the inner child, which is the key to the all universe, alive, awake, and active. So my book, and it's not a book like it's a storybook. It's literally a storybook, but I intricately kind of put subliminals in there. So if you have children, I think I posted. Yeah, I did. I posted it on my page. I think it's $20 Canadian, $15 US. So if you have children or you have uncles and nieces and you're part of the woke community and you want like, you know, the coming generations to not forget who we are and what we came to do, I'll be writing series and series of books to help the children and also developing a curriculum that people that want to, in addition to if you take your children to school or if you homeschool them, and you want to add some kind of universal consciousness to your curriculum at home, you can do that as well. So I'm working on all of that. And so thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. And have a grand night. All right. Bye for now.